Interesting story because baseball is always about good news and baseball is always about bad news. And at this time of the year, these stories kind of rush to the front. Let's start with Stephen Strasburg. This is horrible news. I hate to say his career is in jeopardy, but he's had another setback in a series of setbacks coming back from injuries. He is not at the Washington National Spring Training Camp. This guy had a phenomenal start to his career with his velocity, the electricity, the pitches. He tore an elbow ligament very young in his career with the Nationals, recovered from that, came back, strung up some really good years. Then he suffered carpal tunnel damage in his wrist from the violent snap action, had that taken care of, and then he developed, it's called a thoracic outlet surgery. It's got to do with ribs and nerves in the upper collarbone area. They operated on it. He did all the rehab religiously, came back, made one start last year, shut it down again, spent the entire offseason rehabbing, went to throw a bullpen this past week. It flared again. He is out. I fear that he may have reached the end of the road, and it's the cruel part of baseball. And he's only 32 years of age. And it's terrible because he's thrown only 30 innings since 2019. Only 30 innings since he signed a 7-year, $145 million contract. So the Nats are unfortunately on the hook for the money. And unfortunately, I just don't know how he comes back from this. A lot of pitchers have gone through that surgery. That surgery it's like a rib presses against a vein that impacts blood flow. And you take the rib out, and usually pitchers are able to come back from it. A bunch of them have, but for some reason, there's some nerve damage that he's dealing with in that neck collarbone area that's caused all this problem. His career numbers have been just absolutely tremendous at 113 and 62. It's a tough news. And the good news is Cole Hamels has signed a contract with the Padres. He had a phenomenal run with the Phillies. Now, he's 39 years of age. He's not pitched hardly at all since 2020. He's going to start in spring training. We'll see what his velocity is like. He says he's had 3 different surgeries in the last year and a half while he was out. The last one was on a shoulder, but he also had a knee and a foot. This was a dominant pitcher with the Phillies, and then he went on to the Texas Rangers for a group of years. His career record is 163 and 122. This is a big-time arm from years back. I don't know that he makes this team. I find it hard to believe that Cole Hamels would want to start the season in El Paso, but injuries in spring training can change the makeup of your roster. So I guess he's a bit of an insurance policy, but I don't quite know where he fits. He did work out. I think he worked out for 11 different teams in a showcase workout in Florida, but he didn't get many offers, and the Padres signed him to a 1-year minor league deal. If he makes the big league roster, it'll cost him only $2 million.
Yeah, that's it. It's an interesting signing. I mean, this nice local boy comes home. That's all good. Seems like, the Preller is just signing all these pitchers around the fringes that can possibly be the 5 or 6 starter that can fill in when there's any injuries. But I just think about Strasburg. Remember when he was playing at San Diego State? Oh. And that time it was electric and it was like must see. And people were flocking down there to Tony Gwynn Stadium to watch him pitch. I mean, what an incredible talent. You go back to San Diego State having the MVP of the World Series and of the NBA Finals with Strasburg and Kawhi. So we're all rooting for Strasburg to come back. But like you say, he may be near the end of the road.
Yeah, it's really it's tragic. I don't know if that's the correct word. I mean, tragic is Turkey and Syria, but this unfortunately injuries are part of baseball, and he was such a physical force pitcher, and the fact that now this thing has flared a third time, they've just been unable to solve it. All right, let's go